Good afternoon, everyone. Today is November 17th, 2025. Thank you for coming to today's Community Advisory Committee meeting. My name is Michael Ross. I'm the Director of Stakeholder Engagement for the NYCHA Monitors. We are here at NYCHA's offices at 90 Church. The meeting is also being recorded and live streamed, and we will post the video recording, as we always do, on the Monitor's website at www.nychamonitor.com. There's an attendance sign-in sheet, and we will post the list of attendees for the meeting there, so please just make sure you've signed the attendance sheet before you leave today. Let me welcome, of course, our returning resident members, Mr. Hall from Gun Hill, thank you for being here, Ms. Lino from Gowanus Houses as resident members. On today's agenda, we're going to have a presentation from NYCHA on elevators. So I want to thank the NYCHA team relating to elevators for being here. This will be presented, as I understand it, by Richard Sullivan, the VP of Elevator Services Repair Department at NYCHA. Thank you, Mr. Sullivan, and to your team. If there are any issues that committee members want to raise at the end, we can do that time permitting. I don't think this is going to be a lengthy presentation, but we're looking forward, Mr. Hall and Ms. Lino, to your engagement on these issues.
No problem.
With that, I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Sullivan. There's a PowerPoint deck if everyone can turn their attention to the screen. Mr. Sullivan, take it away.
Yes, so good afternoon. Thank you guys for having us today, right? I want to start with a formal introduction of my whole team, right? To my left, I have Senior Director of Operations, Angel Rodriguez. To his left is Director of Contracts and Modernizations, Marco Acevedo. The guy who needs no introduction at all is our EVP, Executive Vice President, Keith Grossman. And to my far right, I have Deputy Director of Operations, Manhattan and Bronx, Cheryl Allen. Andrew Della Quadro, our newly appointed Deputy Director for Queens, Staten Island, and Brooklyn, right? Did I get that right? And Ron Hall is our Agency Director for our Licenses and Inspections Department, right? And Angelica Sevilla is my Senior Advisor. And before I turn it over to her, I just want to say that I know there's not a lot of time on this, right? But it doesn't have to end here, right? We are certainly more than welcome to come out and meet with TAs at their meetings to kind of go in depth with your properties and the performance of the devices there. I just want to extend that opportunity, right? So with that, I'll turn it over to my Senior Advisor, Angelica Sevilla.
Hi, good morning, everyone. Good afternoon. I'm sorry. Thanks again for coming today. We're going to briefly go through what we do here at ESRD, our various components. We do have an agenda. I can't see it on my screen, sorry.
Sorry, just bear with us. Let's get the PowerPoint up on the screen, please. Great. Is everyone able to see the PowerPoint? Okay, please go ahead. Thank you.
Thank you. Again, we're the Elevator Services and Repair Department. Next slide, please.
You should be able to.
Oh, it's just working. We have an agenda. We're going to have our mission statement, our department overview, our outage count from 2020 to 2025, our outage duration from 2020 to 2025, our types of outages, our preventive maintenance, ESRD progress and accomplishments, ways to prevent outages, and any questions, of course. Our mission: the Elevator Services and Repair Department is responsible for providing safe and reliable service for 2,982 NYCHA elevator devices. Staff responds to elevator-related emergencies and complaints 24 hours, 7 days a week. They resolve elevator outage and conduct routine preventive maintenance. Heavy-duty repairs such as replacing hoist motors, generators, hoist machines, hoist and traveling cables are also performed. Additional responsibilities include installing remote monitoring, overseeing the rehabilitation of elevators, maintenance and requirement contracts, and conducting periodic Category 1 and Category 5 mandated inspection tests. ESRD has an elevator training center where all elevator personnel and others are trained on safety procedures and topics related to the elevator industry.
Thank you. Questions on scope of the elevator department?
Great. Our department overview. ESRD has 500 active staff members. The department consists of the following units: operations, dispatching, inspections, contracts, training, our warehouse and fleet, our analytical unit, and timekeeping. Operations. ESRD Operations provides 24-hour elevator corrective and preventive maintenance service for NYCHA residents across all 5 boroughs. It consists of 4 sectors. Sector 1 is Manhattan, Sector 2 is the Bronx, Sector 3 is Brooklyn, and Sector 4 is Queens and Staten Island, and are divided into 3 shifts. Our normal business operation hours from 8 a.m. to 4:30 p.m., which is our house team. Our after-hours operations was 4:30 to 12:30 a.m. and 12 a.m. to 8 a.m., which is our after-hours teams. Aside from the house and the after-hours teams, we also have a special teams and a major repair teams. These 2 specifically teams assist house teams on extended outages and perform major elevator repairs, conditions that call for a specific skill set, specialty equipment, or dedicated time for lengthy repair. Elevator teams consist of an elevator mechanic and an elevator mechanic helper or city laborer. Our dispatching unit. Our dispatching unit is best described as our department's air traffic control. They're like our eye in the sky, and they play a vital role in our daily operations. Dispatchers are responsible for assigning mechanics and helpers to work orders and by priority and are required to report the status and updates of all outages. They also run a disruption report and a 90-minute report that enables operations to identify and address long-term and excessive outages. Our inspections unit. Our licensed elevator inspectors within the department that conduct New York City Department of Buildings, DOB mandated Category 1 and Category 5 inspections in accordance with DOB code and safety standards. After repairs are made to items found to be deficient from the mandated inspections, our teams perform affirmation of corrections, ensuring that the corrections were made to meet code and safety standards and submitted to DOB for closure. In the event of a reported accident, our licensed inspectors work alongside our house teams and the Department of Buildings inspectors during investigations. The unit also consists of a documentation team who are responsible for managing and maintaining documents and ensuring necessary data are inputted in the DOB portal, keeping us all in compliance. Our contracts. The contract unit oversees the maintenance and repair, which is contract part B of developments undergoing modernization and rehabilitation of aging elevators. Contracts also work collaboratively along ACM, Asset Capital Management, as the subject matter experts SME on the part A, perform inspections and they create punch lists. During modernization, the contract unit engages with outside vendors to ensure adherence to terms. They also oversee the installation of remote elevator monitoring and several other contracts. They do third-party witnessing and outage response. They create any new contract requirements from ESRD.
Thank you. Any questions on department overview?
Yeah, first of all, and I just have to make a long story short, I have an upcoming $11.7 million elevator contract coming to Gun Hill Houses. So look out, Ms. Allen. No, I must say this, and I'm gonna say this publicly. In my tenure as president, which has been for 23 years, all right? When I called because of a problem with an elevator, you've responded admirably, which is why I've never raised any hell with regards to elevators, all right? And I've also been the gentleman on a bicycle that rode by when your van was outside and the work was completed, and I say thank you just for coming and doing a good job. And they didn't even know who I was because I didn't tell them. But in any event, I must say that you've been very respectable
Thank you.
and you've shown up, and basically that's what this is really about. Now your conditions and what have you, a lot of people didn't get into that because all they want is an elevator that goes up and down. Now you have all of these problems like the thinking chip and things that don't work, and you have to come back over and over again to get it fixed, but yet and still, you show up. Alright, you've done elevator work in Gun Hill Houses 2 o'clock in the morning. And I've gotten the alert 6:30 that the work has been done, and I didn't even know it had to be done before I went to bed. So, that being said, you've really done an admirable job, alright? And I just look forward to the upcoming contract, so
Appreciate that, thank you.
no problem, thank you.
Lino?
Hi, how's everyone doing? So in Gowanus is one also as well, I think it's 23 million dollars, as we going under the comprehensive modernization program. And so then we also have a separate contract in regards to the elevator, so that's also happening as well. But I do wanna bring up a development, Washington Houses, that they've been experiencing some issues in terms of the elevator, so I wanted to bring that up. They didn't give me the specific building, but I just wanted to share that.
We can definitely look into that, and
Okay.
we will. As I mentioned earlier, I'm not sure who you connect with at Washington, but you can extend our information. We'll be more than happy to come out and meet with them
Okay,
and go into the specifics, as well as share a plan of action.
okay,
We
perfect.
have managers, this is not my entire management team, we have managers in every borough, senior managers. So we can easily get to whoever it is that we need to get to and speak to them. And most of us up here, by the way, are NYCHA residents, right? At one point we were, so we fully understand exactly what you're saying. We're directly related to it. I appreciate your comments.
No
Yeah,
problem.
I'll just say at Washington Houses specifically, I spoke to the TA this weekend a couple of times, and the couple of problems she brought, hopefully they're the same and we got it. We did have our special teams there troubleshooting all weekend, so I think we have a pretty good lock on it, just so for your awareness.
Thank you, Mr. Hall, thank you, Ms. Lino. We're turning now to the next slide, thank you very much.
So this is our rehab tracker. This is a list of developments that are currently or had been or in process, I believe, of going into rehabs. With the exception of, I believe, Boston Road, who recently just went rad. We have a list there of our number of assets, which is the number of our elevators, how many are in progress, and what it's the contractors and what's pending. So these are our upcoming rehabs, which right now are in tranche 2. We have Surfside Gardens, Haber Houses, Coney Island Side 8, O'Dwyer, Woodson Houses, Cassidy Lafayette Houses, Condom of Life Tower, Shelton Houses, Leavitt Street, 34th Avenue, Rutgers, Strauss, Castle Hill Houses, and Gun Hill Houses. So you're on there.
And go on, it's not on there because it's part of a larger project. Sorry, so these are, just so you, I know, so you're going. So there's multiple different project streams, this is just elevator replacements. There's other projects that are having elevator replacements, like comprehensive modernization, there's trust projects, there's all of these other things. This is a separate and distinct elevator replacement project, that's why Gowanus is not there. Okay. But it is a part of it.
Okay, so I do see Shelton and, okay, so these are the,
But they're getting separate and distinct elevator projects.
okay, no, cause I've been assisting
Yeah.
them, over
Yeah, yeah.
their senior
Yeah.
buildings, so I just, yeah.
Yeah,
That's
absolutely.
great, I'll just share that with them.
Yeah, I don't know.
Thanks.
Terrific, further questions on the rehabs? Okay, thank you.
Our training department. ESRD has an on-site, hands-on training center for all elevator mechanics, elevator helpers, and city laborers. For the safety of the employees, the department, and NYCHA residents, all employees must pass the ESRD training protocols. Throughout the year, classes are given to field staff on equipment and safety procedures and are evaluated on their knowledge of our equipment and operations. Additional training is given when needed. Our instructors create curriculum that demonstrates and educates every student on the mechanisms of each of our various devices. ESRD also has been collaborating with FDNY on training them to remove passengers in a safe and a timely manner.
If I may.
Yes.
I happen to have a building, the fire department is right across the street. And they love to come in and they out of service the elevator in a minute. And once that's done, then I have to wait most of the times to the next morning for that elevator service to come back into focus again. And this is an ongoing set of circumstances.
Yeah, so we are, and I'll let Ron speak to this a little bit more, but we are fully engaged with the fire department right now because of those incidents and the impacts that their response has on not only equipment, but on the service that we are obligated to provide. So we've started bringing them in to our training center, as you can see one of the photos there, to kind of train them or demonstrate how to properly access a hash store to safely remove residents without creating so much damage that will lead to a 7 or 8 hour or maybe even longer type of repair. Ron, you want to talk about the numbers of how many fire department or ladder companies came in so far?
Yeah, sure. So every Friday, we bring in 2 different ladder companies from around the city. We've trained over 700 FDNY on how to safely remove passengers. So that's every Friday, we bring 2 different ladder companies. We also have created a hotline. So if they need assistance before they damage something, they can call us, and we can try to get a elevator team over there to assist them on removing the passengers to try to stop all the damage that's being done.
Okay, because it's funny you said Friday, because Friday is always the day all hell breaks loose. It's just that way. You know, one of the things I try to do is tell my residents, don't hang around in a lobby to watch these elevator men work. So you can find by body language if one knows what he or she is doing, all right? Because a lot of folks like to do that, and then they raise hell because they're upset because the elevators aren't working, you know? You'll find that, but I usually tell residents, just mind your business, keep it moving. But these are things that happen. The fire department is urgently essential because usually they don't come in unless it's something that really needs to be done, you know? And I just, for the most part, I get worried because of the damage of the elevators, you know? But hopefully things take place on a low floor and not a high floor, but it makes a big difference. And this has been my experience for quite some time, you know, so.
Yeah, we're trying to make our communication with FDNY much better.
I was gonna say, I mean, on that note, they come when they're called, and they may not necessarily be needed for why they're called sometimes,
But
but
it's another thing too.
it's an issue. But, this is, like, the chief of FDNY training, signed off on this training as a need, right? So they understand like a door wreck can cause us tens of thousands of dollars, and they're really very supportive of this training.
Yeah.
But just to make the point, sometimes 911 isn't always the answer. It's just, you know, it's ironic, like you get somebody there faster, but it actually causes more damage and downtime, right? So that's like an education thing that we've been trying to push out there. But that's the real point of this is that's the strength of the training program, right? It's another agency that deals with elevator emergencies signed on to our training. I think that's where we're bringing it back a little bit. That's what we're trying to highlight here, so.
No, I got you. Thank you.
Before we move on, I want to note for the record that Joel Gross, a resident member from Williams Plaza Houses, has joined. Thank you, Mr. Gross, for being here.
Next, we have our warehouse. Our centrally managed warehouse is located at NYCHA's Long Island City Central Office. All materials and parts that are ordered are received, counted, entered into Oracle and inventory systems, divided and or stocked, then distributed throughout the sectors across the 5 boroughs. The warehouse supervisor is responsible for tracking our open encumbrances and canceling any orders that had not been received within a designated time frame. The supervisor also attends bi-weekly meetings with the procurement department to streamline and discuss purchasing, receiving, or encumbrance issues. Our analytical unit. The unit is responsible for data analyses by creating and generating daily reports utilizing various applications such as Maximo, Data Warehouse, and multiple dashboards to assist supervisors and senior management with daily operations. They are also responsible for managing our weekends and holiday schedule and filling any vacant lines on the schedule to maintain proper coverage to provide service for our residents. So that brings us back to we are a 24-hour operation. There's nonstop. Our elevators don't stop. So this is a brief graph of our outage count from 2020 to 2025 year to date. As you can see, back in 2020, we started with a total outage count of 35,053. And from January 1st, 2025 year to date, 10/31, we're down to 19,831. This is a decrease about 43% from 2020 to now.
Question, that excludes the RAD and PAC.
Yes, it says it exclude RAD, PAC, rehab, and private management. So also be aware, every year, that number might change. Because, certain years, certain developments from 2020 till now have went PAC or RAD. But each year was excluding RAD, PAC, rehab, or private management.
So the developments that are no longer, are now part of RAD and PAC, is there a transition with the elevators, or once these folks take over? Where do we stand as far as that transition is concerned, or is there a transition?
There is.
So I know that before we turn them over, we have to go through them and make sure that all the violations and inspections are up to date and in compliance, so that we don't turn them over anything that's pending. But once we do that and we meet that goal, the responsibility is theirs to maintain the equipment that we give them.
But isn't that a degree of difficulty? Because I don't know if they lack the expertise to actually do this. And each non-for-profit is different, so I do realize that, but haven't you had cases where that's problematic?
So there has, right? So that's actually a good point, good question. There has been some issues where they couldn't make certain repairs to certain devices, right? In which we would step in and help and loan assistance to get elevators back in service.
Okay.
And at the same time, we'll kind of train them on how to make those repairs moving forward.
Thank you, Mr. Gross.
Yes, most pack and rack developments, my voice is not the best, they usually replacing the entire elevator system. I'm a pack and rack development, we have no elevators. They have their own company who service and monitor the elevator. And usually new elevators is 95% good.
Yeah, and it's really that first period. So there's another challenge with that though, is actually part of the deal is we walk away. So we have to be asked and we have to charge that developer for our service, which we've done happily. We're here, they know it. But just so you're aware that there is a handoff and we are handing them off in good working order. But they become responsible for the maintenance of that asset.
So I guess your fees are so high, they don't wanna call you.
No, our fees are market rate, no, I'm just kidding. No, it's really, they're paying labor and materials, right? It's whatever, it's our cost of doing business. Which is, it's not cheap, but it is good and it is efficient.
Okay, I'm gonna leave that alone.
Before moving on, I want to note for the record, we're now joined by Manny Martinez from South Jamaica Houses. Mr. Martinez, who's on the Zoom, thanks very much for being here. You can proceed.
Okay, our average duration hours and response time has also decreased throughout the years. This is also excluding PAC, RAD, and anything that went private. From 2020 to now, we've decreased our response time and our duration hours by 38.73% and our response time by 56.26%. Okay, so these are a type of outages that we have. These are the postings that the residents will see when there's an outage. These are found in our NYCHA forms and references. We have our elevator outage due to any low voltage or Con Edison, our planned elevator outage, and our unplanned elevator outages. Do you want to go back to that slide?
You should see these posted on every floor anytime your elevator is out, specifically telling you what type of outage it is. A lot of times we don't read them, we just see a sign there and you don't see it?
No, we don't see that in Gowanus.
Oh, you don't see the signs?
Yeah, not that type of sign.
Is it because the elevators are running?
No,
No,
they'll
no, I'm
be
just
out,
kidding.
they'll be out, but it don't,
Really?
it's not this
All
kind
right,
of.
well, that's Kiwanis, right?
Yes.
All right, we'll take a look, we'll look into that. Thank you. Okay.
Okay. Our preventive maintenance. In 2021, ESRD initiated a preventive maintenance pilot program at Mont Haven and Patterson Houses, two of our underperforming properties across the portfolio. The pilot ran for approximately 9 months at each location and focused on designating separate teams for outages and PM. This allowed ESRD to focus more on quality PM, resulting in a 60% reduction in outages. The program was expanded to 6 additional sites and plans to adopt this division of labor as standard ESRD practice.
So, can you go back? So what this really means is that, as you heard early on, we have close to 3,000 elevators, right? Over 50% of them are past their life expectancy. And we feel, and we know through experience, that just because an elevator is old, doesn't mean it can't run correctly or safely, right? So that's why we put a lot of emphasis on preventive maintenance, to make sure that even though we can't modernize an elevator in the time we would like to, at least we can make sure we do our best to maintain it. That's why we do so much preventive maintenance.
And that brings us back to the postings. So sometimes you guys don't have, in fact, an outage. It is somebody doing preventive maintenance, or even though you don't see our guys physically, they're usually in the shaft, and, you know, people automatically think that, oh, there's nobody working on it, it's out. So, you know, usually most of that time is performing preventive maintenance.
Questions about preventive maintenance?
Our total outages at PM locations from 2024 to 2025. So this is the locations that we did our PM programs. We have Polo Grounds, Tompkins, Bushwick, Lafayette, Mont Haven, Patterson, Tilden, and Lincoln. And you can see them there also for 2025. If you can compare, you'll see that Polo Grounds had went from 406 to 208 within a year. Our average response time and also our average repair time has also decreased. So our progress and our accomplishments. Our REMS, as per the agreement, NYCHA has met the obligation to establish continuous remote monitoring, which is REMS, in 70% of its elevators. Our AVR project, our electronic voltage regulator will provide proper operating voltage to the elevator when there's a power reduction from the power company. We have installed a total of 13, mostly in our senior properties, and are currently canvassing locations using low voltage data for future installations. Our elevator apprentice program. As of March 13, 2025, NYCHA has an approved elevator apprenticeship program with the Department of Labor to license our elevator helpers and future applicants into elevator mechanics. Our preventive maintenance program, we'll continue to utilize data of poor performing devices to direct us in choosing our next PM locations. Our training for elevator mechanics and helpers, which is our refresher class. We provide current code and equipment changes through changing and ensure staff to follow safety procedures in the field. Our FDNY demonstrations. As of October 31st, 2025, ESRD has demonstrated safer and faster elevator passenger removal to minimize damages to our elevator's hatch, cab, and hatchway walls to 706 FDNY personnel. This collaboration began in July 2024. Reducing our deficiencies. In 2024, ESRD had a total of 8,409 deficiencies, and in 2025, this was reduced to 7,417 deficiencies. So ways you guys could help prevent our outages. Please don't hold or use packages to hold the doors even for a minute, as elevators can become inoperable. That usually causes our elevators to time out, okay? Be mindful of how many people and things are in elevators at one time. Excessive weight can cause an outage, so anyone who's moving, any heavy furniture, please don't leave any trash in the elevator or in the door tract. Anything as much as a penny can cause an outage on an elevated track, so keep that in mind also. If someone is stuck in the elevator, first call 911, then alert NYCHA by calling the CCC at 718-707-7771. If you're stuck inside the elevator, use the emergency call button to call 911 to report the issue. Do not try to exit on your own, wait for emergency personnel to help. If you're reporting an elevator issue in a building with multiple elevators, only report the specific elevator that is out of service so it can be restored as quickly as possible. Never push water into our elevator shaft. This will cause flooding and costly long-term damage. Use our elevators responsibly. No horseplay, jumping, or sudden shifting in the elevator. And once an elevator outage occurs, it could take at least 2 hours to get back online. So we do need your help and partnership to prevent outages. And that concludes our presentation. Sorry. Any questions?
Further questions, Ms. Lena?
So you referring to the current elevators that they have in developments now? So if it's the elevators upgrade, they won't have that issue, is that?
Which issue?
So no, she said, you talking about ways to prevent the outages, right? So these are with the current elevators that they
No,
have
that's-
now?
That's every elevator.
All
All the elevators?
Yeah, old and new,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, old and new.
These new elevators has the button that you can ring and someone answers, is that correct?
Yeah.
So you can give them your circumstances. That was mentioned, and I told my residents that, I've fallen, I can't get up and stuff like that. You can make them aware. This is a code that is city orientated, so this has to go across to any new project that's taking place.
Correct.
Is that, okay, I just wanted to confirm that because this is, I explained it to my residents and they just thought it was a joke, but another thing is the cameras that are in the elevators. It seems like, I know in Gun Hill, they thought if it was green, it didn't work. It's supposed to work when it was red. They had no idea because they were in other developments. So they thought that this whole thing was a hoax until a lady lost her son. And the last time they saw her son was on the elevator. And when we showed the picture of her son being on the elevator, and it's so funny because the whole drug epidemic left Gun Hill and went across the street because they realized the cameras were working. And they had no idea. So it was something that was quite beneficial to Gun Hill, but nothing stays the same. So now, they know where cameras are, they know what to do and when to do it. They got 30 seconds to make a move, but everybody's more specific, but it's amazing, And I just wanted to say, in Butler houses, as long as you can keep the lights on the elevators, the worst thing in the world is to be on the, 18 flights, you gotta go up and there's no light, and you don't even know who's in the elevator. So it's bad,
That's actually, we're supposed to take the elevator out of service when there's no light in the elevator. So
Yeah,
it's important that they call that in, right?
that's the thing.
Angie talked about the
They
analytical
don't get
unit.
that. You don't get that call until
Yeah.
after an event takes place. And that's the sad part. But I when I was 10 years old, I used to have to go down there all the time. And the worst thing in the world is those elevators, the light to be out. When,
I mean, the number one thing that's not on the ways you can help us list is let us know about it.
Report it.
You know, one of my, you and I speak all the time, but you have to call it a ticket. We can only fix what we know about, right?
I agree.
So, we'll get a lot of, hey, NYCHA hasn't fixed this in 3 years. Well, no tickets. How would we have known to fix it? There's no conversation. So, especially when it comes to elevators, right? Because elevators is an interesting thing. For a lot of these tickets, you can put in anything on, through the app, right? There's a couple of other avenues to do that. The thing about elevators is there's certain hazards, right? Anything that's really a life safety issue, there are certain questions that the CCC needs to hear. I know it takes some time at times to go through all those questions, but we did I have to shout out Ron, Rich, everybody, who worked on this. We did open up the app to a few more items, right? So like no lights is one of those things you can now put into the app. Right, we tried to expand it to everything, the actual limit of what we could expand it to, so residents can use the app, cause I know it is quicker.
Yeah.
Right, like, nobody wants to talk to anybody on the phone anymore. I had a call Verizon the other day, and I felt like it was the end of my world, because I just did everything through the app for years, right? So I think it's, I get it, right? So we tried to make that as easy as possible. We can share after the meeting what stuff you can put in.
Yeah.
So I'll share this, I love using that app, okay? Yeah, I'd rather use the app versus calling the 707 number, cause sometimes you're waiting 20, 30 minutes and the app's right away. So yeah, I love that.
I think that's like really important, just to piggyback on that. Look, the last thing we wanna do is come between residents and resident leaders, right? But often they may call the resident leader first, as opposed to creating a work order or calling it in. The data is important, it's extremely important, we're data driven, right? And Angie touched on it earlier. So, yeah, if we can just kind of collectively work on that, right? It's a partnership that work orders should be called in, or outages, or hazards, or any issues should be called in or generated on the NYCHA app. And then, fine, you wanna call the TA president, they're gonna call us anyway, that's fine. But we need the data, we do. It's important.
Something about the residents that they just think the people who are selected to be presidents come. And they can do it. They think their rent is gonna go up if you single them out. I have no idea what the mindset is. But I told them, don't find out the hard way. The most important thing, whatever the problem is, speak on it, get rid of it, eradicate it.
And what I'll say is that, Mr. Hall, like, at any time, if you ever want us to come to a TA meeting, any of my groups, not just elevators, just give me a call. It's not a problem.
Okay.
We'll be there. We're happy to talk about whatever. It's different when you see the guys, standing up there and they can answer, because residents are gonna come up with a question, and you're a knowledgeable guy, but residents are gonna come up with a question and you don't know, but these guys will have all the answers and be able to tell them where we're at, what's going on, how many times the car was out, how many tickets we got. So we're happy to do any of that for any resident leader. All you gotta do is let us know, we're there.
Okay,
Okay?
alright.
So I have a question. Which development currently right now has a new elevator? No development as of right now?
Oh, I mean, there's a few.
Oh.
If you go back to the rehab list, those are the ones that are in the most recent replacement tranche.
Oh, okay.
So in the packet that you
Yes,
have,
got
the
it.
rehab list,
Okay,
rehab, modernization, right, there's two different terms for it, but that's the group.
okay, so they're the ones that
They're the ones that have.
Okay, and so the call button that, I'm sorry, Mr. Hall was referring to, where does it go to? So when they call, is it within the
It goes to a
development?
monitored line here,
A monitor's line, okay.
monitored,
Monitor,
not NYCHA, not the monitor.
got it,
We monitor the line 24/7.
got it.
So it goes to that person, it's a central alarm station, they answer the call. If it's something that we can handle, we'll handle it. If it has to go to FDNY and there's any injuries, mechanics can handle. If it's something that has to go to emergency services, it goes to a central station monitoring. From there, it goes to either NYCHA elevators or to emergency services, depending on the nature of the call.
Yeah, and that call displays the address of where you're calling from.
Oh, the address, okay,
Yeah,
Like a caller ID.
Yeah.
got it.
Okay.
I want to note for the record, before we proceed, Ms. Ike Torres from Smith Houses has joined. Thank you, Ms. Torres, for being here. On the topic of elevators, the presentation is finished, but if there are further questions, and Ms. Torres, please go ahead.
I just wanna make a general comment, right? So as a CCOP chair, we have a lot of issues. My biggest concern is the senior buildings with the elevator service, right? That a lot of people are in wheelchairs, walkers, there's no way that they could go down, so when they go to the appointments. But I have to tell you, at the end of the day, it's about maintenance, and now I'm gonna talk about Smith. My mechanic if you move him, I will have a pick, you could give him a raise, you could give him a promotion, we even got an office for him. Yeah, we're looking for an office for him, because, no, his worth ethics, his worth ethics is, like, he's on vacation, and when I'm going crazy, I will call him and he will respond and say, you need to do this, you need to do that. He's a great example. However, that's only in Smith, and that should not be like that, right? But he's real, and I'm saying this because if everybody followed his suit and followed his example, we wouldn't, and there are times that he'll tell me the elevator's down, total communication with the resident association, because we need parts. My elevators are old, but I have to tell you, I've had less outages than people who have brand new elevators, and I'm like, I don't know if I want new elevators, And so it's, at the end of the day, it's about communication, it's about maintenance, right? Constant maintenance on the workers that are on site, and it depends. And and so I'm just saying that it'll work. And it isn't that I don't have outages, because I do. I'm not saying I don't, but I do, but it's taken care of. And there's a communication with the TA, because the first people that they go to is us, right? And we're like, I can say, because I have but sometimes I have other developments as a CCOP chair, and they're like, I have people stuck, and the other issue is the fire department, right? Let's keep the fire department out of our developments, because when they come, they practice.
For elevators, yeah.
And they end up doing more damage than good.
Yeah, so, first of all, thank you, wanna, yeah, go
So,
first, Rich?
yeah, I'll talk really quick. Thank you, by the way, I'm very familiar with
Yeah.
both, right? Tony Lupino and Smith, and the FDNY that we spoke about earlier, but we're happy to go over it again. So Tony is an outstanding employee, he is, and he's been around for a long time, and he's dealing with aging equipment at Smith, so appreciate your recognizing him, and we'll certainly remind him when we go back. We've tapped into Tony quite a few times, right?
I know you've taken him out, and I've said, what development? Because
No,
I
no,
don't.
that's not what I meant.
And I'm not being funny.
not what I meant.
And I'm not being funny. And I'm like, okay, go, because they'll start calling me anyway. So go on.
No, what
it's
I
actually
meant
to
was
help with
that,
training.
what I meant was that I think, I agree with his work ethics and the way you described him. His standards are above and beyond what most are. So we've brought him into our training facility to kind of mentor some of our newer folks, our younger folks, to try to get them to think the same way he thinks. Because I think it's all about the approach, right? The way you approach the job is really essentially what the outcome is gonna be. So we've tapped into him quite a few times, and, go ahead.
Yeah, but you gotta let us know.
No, we also
will.
send out employees to Smith with Tony to watch
I
his
know,
work
I've seen,
ethic.
I've seen him walking around, but I'm just saying that it would be beautiful if we can, with this whole AI stuff, if you could multiply him all over the place. But unfortunately, that's not the case, and so.
But we can, because we have Tony I don't wanna, it's not nice to comment on somebody's age, but Tony's on the back end of his career, he's a seasoned veteran, right? And we can, in a way, right, we can absorb his knowledge and pass that on. So one of the things that we didn't touch on in the training deck so much is, it's really a 360 training, right? So Richie and I and the management team go out a lot, and we're looking at the conditions of the elevators. Not the stuff that you can see, we're going behind the wall, riding down the shaftway, making sure that everything is secure. So we can see who's good at maintenance. There are some, you may see an elevator that looks nice on the inside, but there's some issues on the top, right? So we identify those things, and when we find somebody who's really solid, Tony's one, and who's the big kid in Brooklyn? Yeah, so he made his own checklist. He's on one of our PM teams. He made his own checklist, and he just had some notes on things to look for. So we brought him in. He helped us develop a training so that when folks are what was it? Panda, yeah, thank you. So when he came in and helped us develop, how we're teaching our folks how to do maintenance, right? So we can't clone him, but we can try to push his knowledge on, because he's not the only one, by the way. There's a number of,
There's a
I would say
number
the
of them,
vast
I know.
majority. I'm a little biased, but the majority of them are, and I think like I see your point, and I hear that point. Like, we can't clone him, but we can try. We can try to make a new kid who's with a blank slate, you know.
So would it be possible that checklist that you're talking about, that be available to the TAs, so that when there's a complaint, we can kind of say, this is where we're at? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I don't know.
PM work order?
Yeah, it's a PM
That's
work
steps.
order. Yeah, it's a PM work order. I mean, we can show you the steps of it. We can share the steps of it, of what our expectations are for our mechanics. That's fine. Yeah. It's very, very boring and technical.
That's
Just wanna
okay.
be-
And
okay,
you know
yeah.
what's even more boring? When I have to come
Sitting in the
downstairs
lobby
at
and
12
waiting.
o'clock at night or in the middle of the night, I'll start waking all of you guys up to get an elevator to run, because I got a senior downstairs in a wheelchair that can't get up the stairs.
No, we're here. And as far as FDNY, to answer the other part of your question, we, as part of our training, we started doing some collaboration with FDNY to teach them how to properly open an elevator, which is not smashing through a door with a stick or a bat. So we trained about 706 firefighters, and the FDNY's chief of training actually came in, sat through the training, is trying to get us to be their official elevator training for new folks. It's they have this big bag about the size of this table, and Ron showed them how to do it with basically a coat hanger, right? And it's been a great collaboration with them. So we're trying to reduce that as much as we can.
Okay.
But sometimes, they break stuff. Yeah.
And for the record, I apologize for being late, but I had an appointment with my cardiologist, and I ended up in Brooklyn instead of here, which is where I'm late.
Hope everything's okay. Good.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks. We do have Chief Secreto here. Thanks, Chief Secreto, for being here for safety and security. Before we turn to that, though, I just want to make sure there aren't other questions on the elevator portion of the agenda today.
No.
Okay.
Before we go to Chief,
Oh.
is there anything else for any of my areas? Because
I could tell you that I'm in need of a rat czar. I have a lot of rats at Gun Hill because of the underground steam pipe.
yeah,
So if you could,
I'll let him know. Yeah, I'll say. So as that's moving along, as it starts to make some progress, I'll send them out there. It's probably in that area. We're just doing some ground disturbances, but I'll send our construction folks out there to support. It's an operations project, by the way. I'll take care of it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Before we move on, Mr. Martinez on the Zoom has a question relating to elevators.
Yes, good afternoon. Sorry I was late. Sorry I'm on the Zoom. I would love to have been there. But my question is, you guys went from 14,000 down to 7,000. What is the ideal number in that range, in that spectrum, and why are we still at, what's the issues that's keeping us at 7,000 and not bringing us closer to the ideal number?
Are you talking about outages?
Yes.
So most of the issues that prevent us from getting lower than where we at now is kind of like what I talked about earlier, is we have well over 50% of our devices are past their life expectancy of 15 to 20 years. In such cases, we have a lot of obsolete parts. Just equipment is old, and as Angie mentioned earlier, our elevators unfortunately just don't stop. So it becomes increasingly difficult to try to keep them running while maintaining adequate headcount.
So it's because of obsolescence on the parts.
That's part of it. That's part of it.
So what is being done for those parts that are obsolete?
So-
How are you maintaining? Are you refurbishing them?
In some cases, we have to refurbish them, yeah. In some cases, we have to go to a third party to refurbish some of this equipment. or we'll do it right in LIC, Long Island City.
So that means that for those elevators, and how many elevators fit that criteria?
1,500 or so.
It's a little over 1,500 elevators, yeah. I don't have the exact number in front of me, but I know it's a little over 15, closer to 1,600.
What's the total elevator stock in NYCHA?
2,982, 82.
2,982 and 1,500 elevators are
Approximately,
obsolete.
approximately, yeah.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Martinez. Other questions on elevators before we turn to safety and security on the presentation by Chief Secreto?
Oh, yeah, we'll talk to you after.
Okay.
Yeah, oh wait, is that from PD?
Okay.
Oh, tell them we need money, we'll fix it.
Chief Secreto, thank you.
Okay. Can you hear me? There you
Yeah,
go.
change it to green.
Yeah, it's green, okay. That's a question about, PD's asking about the elevator.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, we need them to give us money to fix it. Tell them to take care of it.
Okay. Good afternoon, James Secreto, Vice President of Office of Public Safety. And just want to talk about some of the things going on in NYCHA relative to public safety. And one of our biggest things we're dealing with right now is homeless in the buildings. We do three operations with homeless services, NYPD and NYCHA. It's not a lot, but it's what we're afforded. Homeless Services is the lead agency, and that is what they can commit to. Sometimes PD will go out with us, we'll call and they'll go out with us in a I don't know, critical situation or whatever. For example, there's one in Marble Hill. Guy shows up, and a lot of times people have a connection to these buildings. The family used to live there, maybe the mother died, or the family moved, or whatever. Sometimes there's mental health concerns there, and people have a connection to these buildings. So that's what happened. That's what's the case in Marble Hill. Guy used to live there. His family no longer lives there. He's actually a veteran, but he likes to stay in the roof landing, and often we have to remove him. Call the 50 precinct, and he has to be removed. He never accepts services, and that's the thing with these operations that we do. We offer mental health treatment, drug treatment, escort to the shelter, and most often than not, people, they don't take us up. So far this year, we've encountered 458 people, and 75 did accept services of some sort. 6 were arrested, but most of the times they decline any kind of services or help. Okay, so I will move on. If you have any questions, you want me to stop and see if there's questions or wait to the end for questions? How do you want?
Per topic would be great.
Okay, any questions? Okay, so, before I move on, we don't really, we don't arrest people. 6 were arrested, and like one of them I remember was Butler House. The guy had like a pit bull. And when the cops tried to, remove him in the pit bull, he started fighting with the police officers. So he got arrested. So a lot of times there's some other issues involved, not just for trespassing. We're not really arresting people for that, nor will they be prosecuted for that. The other thing that we're doing is Amazon lockers. We've been doing that for almost 3 years. We're in 113 developments now. We're 942 lockers, 950,000 packages delivered, and these are all numbers as of the end of October. We're projected to have 1 million packages delivered, certainly by the end of the year, possibly by the end of November. Have 1 million packages delivered since we've been doing this. It's been about 3 years now. Very successful. Would love to see Smith Houses take us up on it, but.
I tell you what, it looks like a war zone right now. I have everybody digging something for one pipe or the other.
Okay, all right. But listen, I'm here if you ever, want to take me up
Go
on
by
it.
Smith and I'll show you.
All right, I'm gonna take you up
We
on
up at
that.
the crack of dawn this morning, banging.
Oh my God, I'm gonna take you up on that, Issa. Because we get calls often about people's packages getting stolen. Still a thing, you see it on the news, eyewitness news, still a thing, but this has been highly successful, in my opinion. All right? You have a question? Yeah.
So, I know that Ms. Davis from Gowanus Housing, she's the assistant manager, she was asking, she wanted to contact you, did you get back to her? She had a question in terms of the,
You say
Amazon.
get back. You say get back to her. She
Well,
has to reach out to me.
She said she did, that's what she said, I'm just going by what was told to me.
Listen, I'm not gonna argue.
No, we not
She
arguing.
called, but I didn't get no call from her.
Okay, so then I'll follow up with her, okay.
Okay. If you give me her number, I'll reach out to her. She don't have to reach out to me, I'll reach out to her, but I didn't get any call from her. Okay.
Chief Secreto, going back to quality of life, we have well, in Gun Hill or in the North Bronx, there's a lot of dog crap on the grounds. I've been told now that the police have these Q teams, and these Q teams deal with 311 calls and quality of life. But I've also been told that the law department hasn't caught up to the police in order to rectify this feces problem with the dogs on the grounds of NYCHA. It seems as if there's a problem with the law department signifying how the police could enforce the quality of life issues that are presented by the dog feces.
Now, when you reference law department, you're talking about NYCHA's law.
NYCHA's law department.
I don't see a situation where they would be involved with that.
Well, the police cannot enforce penalizing someone who doesn't clean up behind their dog on the grounds of NYCHA.
I can't speak to that. I really don't know that. And as you know, I was police department. I was the commander of PSA 3 at one point. And my guys and girls used to write that summons, as they also wrote summonses for a dog being off the leash, dog not having the license or whatever. They used to write those summons. At some point, it looks like the police department stopped writing those summonses. I don't really know the reason for that. But what I can tell you is I have meetings, quarterly meetings with the police department, with NYCHA, with the different development, with the NAs and what have you. And we bring up the issues. And one of the issues that we've been speaking loudly about is vicious dogs, right? Vicious dogs, and I chronicled about 9 incidents that I pointed out to NYPD and to the Department of Health, which is gonna be the lead agency dealing with these vicious dogs. But one of the things I've asked the police department, if they can revisit giving these summonses for not cleaning up after your dog and for having the dog off the leash, because that's really a lot of the impetus for people getting attacked with it. And of the 9 instances that I chronicled of these dog bites, 4 were workers, 3 were children, 10, 11, and 12 years old, and 2 were seniors, over 60, 2 women over 60. So one of the things I've asked them was, can you guys start writing summonses again? And they've said yes. So I don't know that they've done it or they just were placating me on this meeting, but they said they could, and that remains to be seen. But there's nothing. I say all that to say there's nothing from the law department saying yes or no or whatever. I don't even see them involved in that.
What I'll do is get you with Captain Herron up at PSA, and we can have this conversation again, so get some clarity.
Okay, and listen, I don't want to make it seem like, we're gonna summons people. But maybe if you summons one person or 2 people, the word gets out that hey, police are looking at that, because a lot of these dogs are like they have this American bully dog, and if somebody got hurt in a child in Smith maybe a year ago or whatever. It was an American bully dog. I had never heard of that dog, so I looked it up, and it looks like a pit bull that lifts weights. It's like a huge, like pit bull, very muscular, as they call American bully dog. So we're seeing a lot of those as well. So
We have 2 questions. Ms. Torres, did you have a question? And we have one from Mr. Martinez online.
I'll yield to Manny first.
Okay, Mr. Martinez?
Yes, good afternoon again. So, Chief Secreto, good afternoon.
Hey, man, good
Pleasure
afternoon.
to talk with you. So, in your first statement, you said that you're no longer, trespassing is no longer being enforced in public housing in New York City?
I did not say that. I said
Okay.
they're not prosecuting. Like the DAs are not for the most part prosecuting trespassing. I think I've even heard statements to the effect of trespassing is not, it shouldn't be a crime. You know, that type of thing. But go ahead.
So, yeah, because it seems that tra- a lot of things have been decriminalized in public housing, and it seems to have been a joint effort between NYCHA and the NYPD, and then that's enabling a lot of dangerous circumstances. NYCHA as the landlord here, and this is in public housing. Every NYCHA managed development is private property, in the sense that these areas are residential, and trespassing is a significant danger. It escalates to other more serious crimes, and it seems that as a landlord, you're not making the effort to isolate these discrepancies. I'm trying to see where does NYCHA stand in this. We're at the point now where NYPD is allowing for violent crimes like stabbings to go unanswered and leaving stair holes without any kind of proper uh, security or presence. And so if we're not looking at trespassing and not engaging in all of these smaller crimes, and it's escalating to this, where's NYCHA as a landlord who's responsible to a point for safety and security?
Manny, we've had this discussion a few times offline. NYCHA cannot insist that PSA 9 or the 103 arrest somebody for trespass. It doesn't work that way. Like, we could call NYPD, they come, and we could tell them till we're blue in the face, hey, we want this person arrested. They're not gonna arrest them because the DA is not gonna prosecute, and they're just not gonna play that cat and mouse game with us. So, I don't know what else you want us to do. We're out at South Jamaica houses probably every other week. And and to your point, there are many homeless people in in those buildings. Sometimes, as a matter of fact, the DA, at least the Manhattan DA, has told us that they would prosecute under certain circumstances. So if another crime was being committed in addition to trespass, they would prosecute. They've even told us if if the officers are telling the same people over and over again, and it's captured on their body camera, that they don't belong in here, we don't, you have to leave, you're trespassing, that they would prosecute in that case. I have yet to see that though, occur.
But
But
there are instances, like for example, in commercial establishments where there's persistent shoplifters or what have you, and there are instances where there's a partnership there, and those persons are now prosecuted. They're focused on. Why is NYCHA not engaging with the district attorneys and the police departments to try to address this very prominent issue? And I would like to note, NYCHA is the landlord here. NYCHA is not the Department of Homeless Services. So even though reaching out with that agency into our community is a benefit, and we're not turning it away, but your main responsibility is to keep these buildings safe, and it doesn't seem that that is a priority.
all right, man. Again, I gotta disagree with you. We go out there at least 3 times a week, sometimes more, but our hands are kind of tied as to what we can do. All right, we're not the police, and the police are not. They're not going to arrest somebody for trespass. It's just not happening. And I don't know. Maybe Staten Island they would prosecute, but they're not. They're not prosecuting in the other
So the police is
boroughs.
not going to arrest, or the DA
The
is
police are not
prosecuting?
arresting
Which one?
somebody for trespassing, man. They're just not doing it. And I would imagine the reason they're not doing it is because when they go and call the DA and say, hey, we have a trespasser here, then they're gonna get thrown out. It's not gonna get prosecuted. So they're not gonna.
Is NYCHA as the landlord making this particular circumstance an issue with all of the parties that's involved? That's my main question. Is NYCHA as a landlord who's responsible for these safety and security concerns, are they bringing these up as a priority? Or is the intent that NYCHA has to create such a poor standard of quality so that they can leverage our communities? Because NYCHA has a responsibility as a landlord to engage these entities to say, we have a crisis here. This is a crisis. And you guys are saying, oh, you're shrugging your shoulders saying that this is acceptable. Remember, this is 150,000 households. Over 300,000 people live in these communities collectively. Now, why is NYCHA not taking their responsibility and prioritizing these issues in our community? Chief Secreto?
Manny, are you suggesting that we tell the police, how to do their jobs and what to do, and tell the
Yes,
DAs
I'm
as well?
suggesting that
It doesn't work that way.
if you have this consistent issue that the police is not following up on, and they have the duty to, because it's in their manual, Chief, because you used to be the chief, so it is in their manual for them to engage homelessness, and if they are violating, to prosecute, to engage that violation, that is. So if they're not doing that, then you guys are accepting that they are violating their duties to do their job, and it's okay. So that's a problem. If the landlord is saying that they're turning a blind eye to these circumstances, then that's a significant issue.
All right, Manny, I understand your frustration. I agree with you on certain points, but I haven't seen a situation where I'm telling the police what to do. But if you want to meet with, I'll meet with Inspector Figueroa, yourself. We could meet with the 103 commander as well and try and move this needle. But I don't think it's going to come out with the outcome that you're looking for.
No, my outcome is that NYCHA needs to prioritize these circumstances as a significant priority that is hindering the quality of life for their residents. As a landlord, on these private residences, that's my purpose here. I'm not saying that you're going to give any kind of directions to the NYPD. I'm saying that as the NYCHA head for safety and security, that this issue needs to be prioritized, and shrug shoulders and looking the other way and saying, oh, well, it's not acceptable. Not from NYCHA.
Hey, listen, Manny, I got to stop you right there. I'm not shrugging my shoulders. We go out there several times a week. It's not a lot, but it's what we have at our disposal.
Department of Homeless Services, and you just now said we're not telling the NYPD what to do, and the NYPD isn't prosecuting as if they're going to dictate what your responsibility is as a landlord, and that's a problem.
I'm not going to go back and forth with you. I'm not going to go back and forth with you. Certainly not in this forum.
Sir. I'm addressing the discrepancies in your responses to this issue. Safety and security is a prominent concern in all of our communities. We're not going to be conditioned to accept a lesser quality or a lesser expectation for our safety, especially with the services who are getting paid by our taxes to enforce that, which includes NYCHA.
All right. Again, Manny, I'm not gonna further this discussion. But you brought up one other thing. You brought up one other thing I want to address.
As the chief of safety and security, you have been silent on these issues, giving NYPD the pass and blaming it on the Queens District Attorney. We need to see a prominent, a vocal prioritization on the safety of our community, sir. We can't no longer continue to listen to the fact that you're shrugging your shoulders every time you say, well, NYPD isn't making arrests.
I gotta stop you, man, and I gotta stop you saying I'm shrugging my shoulders. All right, I'm not gonna sit here and let you keep repeating that. All right, and then the other thing that you brought up, there's a person in your development that stabbed someone, and I've been and they're not arrested yet, and I've been in constant communication as far as the chief of detective's office up in One Police Plaza. They don't have an arrest warrant for this woman. They have what is called an I card. They have probable cause to arrest her, but they don't have an arrest warrant. So as long as she stays behind her door, they cannot go there and force her out. Can't knock on the door and take her out. So they gotta wait for her to come out and someone call up and say she's out. As unreasonable as that may seem, that is the case.
Thank you. Mr. Martinez, I just want to make sure we have time.
How come when you have a violent crime like this, no one is there? And they created a wanted poster and didn't put any of it anywhere in our community to let us know that there's a significant danger in our community. And NYCHA is cool with that?
Some of those issues you reference are police department issues, not nature issues, Manny.
I want to make sure we have
It's
time
a
for
concern
other, I
when
want to
when
make
the
sure we
police
have time
department
for
has the
other
responsibility
issues
to engage
and
not
questions as
engaging,
well.
and the landlord is quiet,
Right.
just like you are, Chief Secreto.
Mr. Martinez, thank you. I want to make sure we have time for the other questions as well. Ms. Torres, I think you had deferred to Mr. Martinez's question, and I want to make sure you had a time to ask your question.
Okay, Mr. Martinez, thank you, because you've kind of addressed some of the issues. This trespassing issue is prominent. I'll talk about Smith, because we built a park that cost almost, and it was named after a former employee, Liana Bellini, who passed in service. And we spent a lot of money, close to $1 million, and the trespassers have destroyed it. So I now have to call in my thing and ask to rehabilitate the park because it's been destroyed by people who are from the outside, who have no respect. And I'm going to tell you, they've told me to my face, oh, this is public housing and we could do whatever you want. I had that conversation with a principal from across the street. For those of you who don't know, Smith is right across one PP, right? Telling me about, oh, that's public housing, so I told the students they could go there. I said, really? I don't think so, you know? And to Mr. Martinez's point is that we pay rent, we pay taxes, right? And we're not getting the services that we're supposed to get. I just learned that the NCOs was demolished, we called 311, and if, you know, the building that has the most people, they picked the wrong time to say that to me, because I'll have everybody in Smith in every building calling 311. I will tie up their boards. But people coming into our development, it becomes dangerous. As the CAC chair, I'm going to talk about Mentor, which is, if they're right across the street from CATS. Sometimes CATS, the line is around the corner, right? Because all these tourists come, and people think, and I went one day, and I just sat, and people just come in. They just think they could come in. This is a senior building. Everybody, you know, it's a senior building, everybody's over 65, right? This is a senior building, and people, all these tourists just come in, and people come in. There's got to be some sense of the police acknowledging, right, that you're trespassing. And we're not saying maybe arrest, but give out summons. Because I think if you give out summons, like the same thing with the dogs, if we start giving out summons with the feet, and by the way, dog feces is very dangerous, because if you step on it, you could slip and break your neck, right? The police need to come into our developments and start giving out summons when people are trespassing, so that they know, if you can't behave in our developments, then you can't come here. But they come with an attitude, and I get more tourists than any other development, I guarantee you. I have the Brooklyn Bridge right there. I'm planning on opening up a booth and start charging people to tell them how the hell to get on the bridge. You know, no, but I'm serious. And so it becomes, and the older the population, in Smith, we're doing a dog run, right? And we've developed the thing that we're gonna do big and small, because ironically enough, the seniors are the ones who have the small dogs, and it's the families that have the bigger dogs, but to share and have a community. And so to what Mr. Martinez has been saying, this is not about arguing back and forth. The city, the police, the new mayor, and I'll make that vocal to him, need to make the police department accountable to the residents in public housing. You know, about people trespassing. Everybody's under the illusion, because it's public housing, that they could step into our developments, do whatever the heck they want. And that's part of the problem, like with the homeless. That's insane. And every DCOP meeting, because you've been to them, what's the biggest complaint we have about security? I've had 2 members of my board, you know, that they've been attacked. One in particular was going to a meeting, and she's a senior. She was attacked. So they had to have known that she was going to the meeting because she posted her meeting. And so by a homeless person. So what we're saying, and I don't know if you guys agree with me, is that the public, maybe there should be a public announcement, just like, the home security people, get your ticket. Maybe there should be a public announcement. Public housing is not open to the public. It belongs to the residents. And there has to be some kind of responsibility, because it's not right. If I don't pay my rent, I get a knock on my door or a call, right? But we pay rent, we pay taxes, and we're responsible residents. We're not just, saying things to say things and just to be argumental. What we're saying is that in our time, in real time, our residents are afraid to come outside sometimes. They're afraid of, you gotta be careful, including me. When I walk, I gotta be careful that there's no stool on the floor. And a lot of the people who do it don't live in Smith. I can guarantee you that, right? And so, because we're public housing, we're saying this because it's said to us to our faces. Like, I'm telling, I had a principal from the DOE, and I said, you need to step down, because you really don't know who you're talking to. I hung up and I called every elected official and everything. The good thing that came out of that is that Gotham Park underneath the bridge came out of that conversation, right? Because everybody said, okay, we're gonna do this, and it's done. So now the kids hang out in Gotham Park, right behind their school, instead of hanging out in Smith, right? And so I say this to you because it's important that you make a public announcement and say public housing is not open to the public. It is for the residents, for the staff, for their guests, right? I mean, and sometimes it doesn't bother me, like on my family day, you should see all the tourists. We had one year, they got up and they danced and they had a ball in my family day. And they didn't speak English. That was the funniest thing. So it's not about we're not friendly, we're not open, but enough is enough. And we get complaints every DCOP meeting we have. For me anyway, that's like the major thing, the whole security thing. And people, the public in general needs to know that we're not public housing. Our developments are not a hangout. They're not a hangout. We're not asking people to arrest, but if you give them a summons and they start feeling it, people, when you hit them with their pocket, especially in these times, maybe they'll start, think twice about just coming into our developments, bringing their dogs, destroying our equipment, because this is public housing. Thank you, I yield.
I don't disagree with you. And I'm trying to think how we can move this needle. There was a call recently, town hall, I don't know if you were on it with the mayor, maybe 3 weeks ago. And this topic came up, of course, the homeless. And he acknowledged that it's a huge problem, citywide, not just NYCHA, but citywide. And then he even said, like, throughout the country, it's a big problem. And so maybe we can reach out to the DAs and see, like, because that's what's important to the residents, to you, as you just articulated. It's important that something is done, because right now it's just a cat and mouse game that we play with the homeless people. When we go there, we escort them out, we take them to a shelter or whatever, we drive off and they come back an hour later. So
Our DA has a representative in every DCOP meeting for Manhattan South. So that's not, the district attorney, so that's not the issue is, and I think this is what Mr. Martinez was alluding to, that NYCHA, as the landlord, must stand firm and say, hello, this is public housing, yes, but this is not this is not a park. This is not like Central Park, and even there's rules and regulations. The state parks, if you take a bus, you need a permit. And what we're saying is, NYCHA has to say, public housing is not open to the public. It is open only to the residents, the staff that works there, and whoever, and that's it. Not for, whatever, for the public. It is for us, right? And that's all I'm saying.
Leniency. it's too lenient for public housing residents when we talk about wrongdoing, and that's what we're referring to. Prosecutorial circumstances is one thing, but now quality of life as a public housing resident, everything is too lenient, and this is why everybody's crying out.
And I hear this repeatedly every time I go somewhere. But what we're capable of doing, as landlords, it's been mentioned like 5 times, we're the landlords. Landlords can do tenancy action, right? We call in the party, put them on notice, listen, your folder's gonna go downtown, but we're not the police, and we can't
Managers
dictate
are not
to the
doing
police.
that.
Yeah.
Managers are not enforcing the lease.
Well-
The pit bulls with other crimes. That's the problem.
Well,
NYCHA's not pushing management to enforce like 10 years ago, 15 years ago, I remember.
I grew up in housing, Mr. Gross. I grew up in housing, I had a little puppy. And the neighbor called up the management and they said the Secretos have a puppy. I had to get rid of the dog. But those days are gone now.
Yeah.
So many people got dogs, now some people have multiple dogs, but it changed, right? It changed, things changed.
According to my knowledge, management is saying NYCHA is not on the same page. If they're gonna take some legal action, NYCHA will not back them. The law department will make an agreement and just dropped out the case. That's why they're not enforcing it. And I think if you can, Chief, create a meeting with the DAs from the boroughs and the PSA chief with the TA president, should everybody sit in the same room, let's go over all the details from Mr. Smith, from everybody, the constituents, let's come to some agreement.
Yeah, this is a problem that I think whose time has come. If we can bring this all up collectively with this new mayoral institution taking place, I think we can, as you would say, move the needle. Something has to take place. And nothing is worse than doing nothing at all.
And one of the things, and Dan Green has mentioned this several times, he did, there's like 3 hearing examiners, just administrative judges. There's like 36,000 cases for tenancy action. And that's a bond, that there's 3 judges, 36,000 cases for people not paying their rent, people, whatever, undesirable tenants, and it doesn't move very quickly. So sometimes we're trying to put people out for years, it takes. But that's really kind of what NYCHA's reduced to. One of the things that came up with these dogs is that when a person gets bit by a dog, police come, they do what's called an aided card, and they do a dog bite form that goes to the Department of Health. Their question was, well, what's NYCHA doing? And what NYCHA's doing is tenancy action. That's all we could do, is, put somebody up to be evicted or whatever, and then it goes into this backlog, where there's 3 administrative judges for 36,000 cases. So there's issues, and I don't disagree with anything that you said, but what NYCHA can do is, we're limited in what we can do. And basically, as a landlord, is to take tenancy action against the offending tenant.
I just want to note, we have about 5 minutes left in the meeting. Are there other questions on this or other issues before
I
we
just want a
conclude?
quick question. So Sabita, you shared earlier that you attended a meeting and a conversation about a summit came up, right? And you went to a meeting, right? And you stated that in regards to them giving out summons to trespassers. Am I correct?
No.
No,
I said we talked about them giving dog owners summonses for not having a dog on the leash, not picking up after the dog. That they used to do it, can they revisit that? That was what I said. I don't remember about giving summonses to trespass. I don't remember saying that.
Okay.
No, I don't know, we could go to the tape or something, but I don't.
Okay.
But if you want, what's the question?
No, so it could start there, right? So the meeting that you attended where it was officers there and saying about they were gonna give out summonses, it can start there. So pretty much holding them accountable. If they already stated that they were gonna start giving out summons, correct me if I'm wrong, or if this conversation come about, that they could start giving out summons to whoever is doing the trespassing. In that, whatever meeting, PSA, whatever the meeting is that happens.
That's more a police a question for the police department, for the PSAs, the precincts, than it is for officer safety and security.
No, I got that, but you were at that meeting, what I'm saying in terms of the accountability, if they stating that they will be giving out the summons to hold them accountable to this information, this things that they say they're going to do. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying that this is,
I
I'm
did
just,
not say the police said they were.
no, okay, so,
And there are
okay,
occasions when
Okay.
they give summonses.
okay,
As a rule, I don't know them to give summonses to everyone, like we encountered 400 and some odd people. They're not gonna give out 400 and some odd summonses. And they never said that.
okay, but that's, but I'm just
I
putting
never
it
said
on.
that they said.
Okay, so that's why I asked for clarity. But that's what I'm just saying, in terms of when they do have meetings, PSA meeting, whatever meetings, so in terms of doing something that they stated that they could start doing it again. I'm not saying that you, that's why I asked for clarity before I said what I said, but we're gonna leave it there, okay? Thank you.
Mr. Gross, you have a.
Yes, I want to talk about heat and hot water, what right now is the season. The issues what all NYCHA developers are suffering, I hear last night from multiple developments, when they call in the CC hotline, you can wait 30, 45 minutes, a lot of times it's getting disconnected. And last night, I heard from a lot of residents, even the app was not working properly. So number one, I would like to ask if NYCHA can upgrade the system, when you call in, they have the phone numbers and cell phone numbers and the residents, instead of even speaking to somebody, press 1 if you don't have heat, press 2 if you don't have hot water, and automatically they have the phone number from the resident. They should know where they live and their address. Because a lot of people will not report heat and hot water if it takes them an hour on the phone. And plus they're getting disconnected in the middle.
Great. We will have another session on heat, I'm sure, coming up for the CAC, but we'll take that down and pass it along to the right place. Thank you, Mr. Gross. Other questions?
No, that's it. Thank you.
Okay, we're almost at time, but if there are no further questions, thank you all for being here today. I want to thank all the residents for your engagement with the issues and your participation and continued participation in the CAC. It's really the purpose of this, and we value it. We're going to be adjourned. This is our last CAC meeting for this year. We'll be sending out the schedule for next year shortly. I do want to acknowledge and thank the NYCHA folks involved in arranging the logistics, Umberto Rosario, Luis Gomez, Andy Nagy, for all of the help setting up these meetings, which I know is a lot of work, and I just want to acknowledge that engagement by the NYCHA staff. With that, we'll be adjourned until next year. Thanks very much.